Welcome back to another episode of the B Jack 70 Show. I'm your host, Brandon Jackson, and it's time for an early edition of Brandon's Bets. Um, getting to you early so you can plan accordingly. We will be betting one game on Christmas Day, another game on Saturday, and three more on Sunday. But before we get into those bets real quick, just want to say since you're here, go ahead, like the video, subscribe to the channel, subscribe on Spotify. The link to the Spotify page will be in the description box below in this video. We're back on Spotify. It's a new feed, so if you subscribed before, you're going to have to do it again for me. I apologize, but you know, technology, it is what it is, but if you want to listen, if you want to watch on Spotify, we are on Spotify. I appreciate you being here on YouTube and watching on YouTube and subscribing on YouTube. But yeah, let's get right into it. We got five more bets this week. Feeling like a good week. I think Santa Claus is going to bring us a 5-0 week this week. But yeah, overall 47-33 against the spread on the year. Just a hair, just a touch under 60% with 2 weeks left to go. And, we're bringing it to you early because obviously Thursday is Christmas. Be doing a lot of traveling, doing a lot of family stuff. So I won't be able to record how I would like to record and get it to you on Friday. Plus, I did decide to go ahead and bet one of these Christmas games. But full disclosure, me right now, I'm recording. It's Tuesday night. You're seeing this, and it's dropping on a Wednesday. So the lines, I'm diving head first into lines that could change. I will hold myself accountable to the lines that I give you on this episode. By all means, if you get more favorable lines by the time that you watch this, go ahead and take them. But I will be holding myself accountable to what I put on wax tonight. With that being said, let's get right into the first one on Christmas, and it's the Detroit Lions -7.5 at the Minnesota Vikings. And this one is pretty simple. The Detroit Lions need this game. They're fighting for their playoff lives. When this game kicks off, they'll still be alive for the playoffs. And on the other side, Max Brosmer is starting. The worst quarterback that we may have ever seen play starting quarterback in the NFL is starting another week in this game. And the Lions at -7.5, I think is pretty favorable, all things considered, considering the scope of the game, considering the player that is on the other side. I know the Vikings have a great defense. I understand, but Jared Goff had success against them the last time they played this year. Just a couple of turnovers and a couple of breaks here and there for the Vikings allowed them to get that win. I don't see that happening this time around. The Lions need this one. If they want a chance at making the playoffs, they're going to have to get this one. Spoiler alert, based on the picks that I have this week, if those work out, the Lions will not be in the playoffs. But when they kick off on Christmas Day, they won't know. So they're going to have to play like their life depends on it. And I think they will. This team has a lot of pride. They do tend to come back after losses pretty well. They, people in the Detroit area, somebody put up a billboard, said they got robbed. Did they get robbed? I don't know. It looked like offensive pass interference to me personally. But that's just because I was, maybe it was because I was going against Amon-Ra St. Brown in my fantasy football semifinals on Sunday. So I don't know. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I got the Lions -7.5. I think they will go ahead and stomp the Vikings out. It's been a year from hell for them. JJ McCarthy is hurt again. He's been hurt all season. Justin Jefferson couldn't even sniff the Pro Bowl. I don't know when the last time he's had a good performance. I know he's frustrated. I know Kevin O'Connell has to be frustrated with this quarterback play that they were getting. JJ was coming along little by little, but just to get hurt again is really unfortunate. But you know, I don't expect the Vikings to quit essentially. I don't expect that. But it's gonna be real hard to get up for a game on Christmas when you're not playing for anything and the Lions are playing for everything. So that being said, I got the Lions -7.5 at the Minnesota Vikings on Christmas. Next up, and this was the spoiler alert because if the Green Bay Packers win on Saturday night, Lions will be eliminated. The Lions, as far as I know, they have to win 2 games and the Packers have to lose 2 games. So, with this pick here, I'm taking the Green Bay Packers -2.5 against the Baltimore Ravens on Saturday night, I believe it is. Yeah, Saturday night. I think the Packers are going to win. I think they're going to cover by 2.5, and I think they're going to knock the Lions out of the playoffs, and I think they'll knock the Baltimore Ravens out of the playoffs. And I understand. Again, I'm recording on Tuesday. Jordan Love and Malik Willis were both limited with their injuries today on Tuesday. And I feel good about this if either one of those men start. If Jordan starts, if Malik Willis starts, Malik Willis looked well enough playing, playing against the Bears on last Saturday. I like Matt LaFleur, love Matt LaFleur as a head coach. I think he'll be able to get it done with either quarterback. Like I said in the last episode, Ravens just don't have it. Ravens just don't have it this year. Will Lamar play? Maybe. He didn't practice today, but that's pretty usual for him these last 6-7 weeks, not practicing at least once per week. So again, this will come out Wednesday morning. I won't know if he's practiced on Wednesday or not when this releases. But either way, they just don't have it. And even if Lamar does play, Lamar hasn't been playing up to his standard and up to the standard of a playoff team this season. He's been injured, whether he's been in or out of the lineup. He's been injured all season, hasn't looked like himself, hasn't really played that well since coming back from the injury. I really think no matter who suits up for both of these teams, I think the Packers are coached well enough and will play well enough to cover this spread on Saturday against the Ravens. I really just do. I had faith in the Ravens a few weeks ago, maybe about a month ago. I thought they could turn the corner and get it together, but seeing how they've been playing, I don't believe in them anymore. I think this is going to be basically it for them. And like I said, Lamar does play, doesn't play. I'm still going to take the Packers -2.5 at home against the Ravens. And with that being said, that goes into our next pick, and that's on Sunday. If the Ravens lose, the Pittsburgh Steelers will have clinched the AFC North. And with that being said, I'm taking the Cleveland Browns +3 at home against the Pittsburgh Steelers. If it happens like I think it's going to happen and the Ravens lose on Saturday, Pittsburgh will have already clinched the division and they're in a spot where they can't, most likely cannot move up in the rankings. They're pretty much going to be the 4 seed. And if they know going into Sunday that they're going to be the 4 seed, um, it could be strategic for them, depending on how they want to view themselves against the Browns and in the future, could be strategic for them to rest some guys that may otherwise play that might need some rest. Possibly, a quarterback in his 40s playing football for them. Um, could be that they choose to rest some guys and not be mad if the Cleveland Browns win a football game, because that would change their draft position. Because right now, as it stands, if the Browns lose out, they will get a top 2 pick in the 2026 NFL draft. If they win this game on Sunday against the Steelers, that takes them out of contention for a top 3 pick, maybe a top 5 pick. I don't know the exact scenarios or what would happen, but I do know if they lose these last 2 games, the Browns, they're a lock pretty much for a number 2, at least a number 2 pick. So a top 2 pick. So what I'm saying here is if the Ravens go ahead and lose Saturday night, Steelers go into Sunday at 1 o'clock knowing the division is theirs, and they basically have 2 weeks off because neither of those games mean anything because they can't move up. They can't get to the 3 seed. They can't get to 2-1. They can't do any of that. And they also can't move down because they won the division. They are going to be a top 4 seed, and it's going to be exactly the 4 seed. So this game is meaningless. The next game is meaningless. Obviously, DK Metcalf is suspended for these next 2 games. He appealed. The appeal was upheld. He's suspended. So he's not playing. They don't have really any other receivers to challenge the Browns downfield. Denzel Ward is coming back. Myles Garrett is still searching for that elusive last sack in order to break the all-time single season sack record. Cleveland still has things to play for. This Cleveland Browns team, I will give them credit and I will give Kevin Stefanski credit, still has them playing hard, still has them wanting to go out there and play football every week. This team, at least this offense, they may not be good, but they go out there and they play hard, and they play hard for their quarterback that's out there. That, at this point in the season, with how they've looked, that's probably the best compliment I can give them, that they're still going out there. They're playing for pride and they play with pride. Still going out there trying to do the best that they can. And when it comes to them and the Steelers, given the situation this week, I think their best could win a game. They basically took Buffalo to the limit last week. Now Buffalo obviously didn't play their best game. But either way, the Browns still had a chance to drive down the field, take the lead, get a tie, do whatever. They still were within range to win that game. And I think they'll be able to put up a good enough performance and win this game, or at the very least, cover the +3. This spread started off Steelers -6.5, and it shrunk to 5.5, 3.5. Now it's at 3. I thought about it. I pondered long and hard about it, but given the circumstances, it makes sense for there to be a Cleveland Browns victory on Sunday. Everybody in the world is expecting them to get a top 2 draft pick. Everybody's expecting them to lose their last 2 games. Everybody think the Steelers will just roll over them. And this is the NFL. Crazy things happen in the NFL all the time. Football teams that shouldn't lose games all the time. And this is a big spot. And I haven't mentioned the elephant in the room. The quarterback, Shador Sanders, is like the Lions are fighting for their playoff lives. Shador Sanders is fighting for his starting quarterback life. The only way that he can guarantee himself a shot at being the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns in 2026 is if he wins these last two games and takes them out of range to take Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore, or whoever else pops up at the top of the draft. That's the only way he can do it. And I think it starts on Sunday. So Browns +3. But I really do think they go ahead and win outright. And next up, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars -6.5 at the Indianapolis Colts. The Jags are on fire. That Colts defense on the other side is losing steam. They gave up a bunch of points to the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco is a good team. They have an excellent offense. Brock Purdy was cooking. Christian McCaffrey was cooking. George Kittle, before he got hurt, was cooking. Jags got some weapons too. Parker Washington did his thing last week. Brian Thomas is still a good receiver. Jacoby Myers has been balling. Brenton Strange has been good since coming back from injury. Travis Etienne has been excellent coming out of the backfield. And our boy on this podcast, my and your guy, Trevor Lawrence, has been balling for a few weeks now. And I haven't mentioned it. I haven't bet on them. I wanted to see if it was real. And I'm finally at a spot where I can believe in them. On the other side, Jacksonville's defense, they actually have a pass rush. San Francisco had 0 pass rush, barely even breathed on Phillip Rivers on Monday night. They got the win, but they very rarely put Phillip Rivers under pressure. Jacksonville is a team that can put you under pressure. Rivers has, by all accounts, been better than I thought he would be, way better than expected. He's been able to get the ball out very quickly because he can diagnose the defense. That's all well and good. But when you play what's been a very good defense for all of 2025, we'll see what you can do. We'll see what you can do. -6.5. I think the Jags win by double digits. I think they win by 10. They go into Indianapolis, take care of business, do what needs to be done. They are also fighting for something. They need to win out if they want to have a chance at the 1 seed, which, again, anything can happen. Anybody can lose on any given Sunday. You just got to put yourself in position to be able to take advantage, and they need to win. They need to keep winning. Yes, they're in the playoffs. They're going to be in the playoffs, but they have bigger goals to get a higher seed, get the highest seed they can possibly get. And it starts by winning against the Colts. It starts by dominating against the Colts. And I think that this Jags team, they have the ability to dominate on Sunday. So I feel good about them, but we'll see how real it is. And last but not least, I got the Carolina Panthers at home +7.5 against the Seattle Seahawks. The Panthers are 5-2 at home. The Seahawks, yes, they are rested. They played on Thursday Night Football last week, but they are coming across the country to play a football game for the 6th time this year. And, full transparency, the previous 5 times that they've come all the way across the country into the Eastern time zone to play a football game. They've won. They're 5-0 in that scenario already in 2025. But this time around, they're playing a team that does play very well at home, and they themselves are coming off an emotional high, an emotional roller coaster, the craziest 2-point conversion that we may have literally ever seen in the National Football League. They're coming off of that. They should not have been able to win that football game last Thursday, but they did. They did. Now I like the Panthers at home getting more than a touchdown. I I still, I still probably think the Seahawks win the game, but I think it will be a close game. I think the Panthers can keep this within a field goal. Um, I don't want to keep bringing this up about Sam Darnold, but he he had the game that he had last week. In the beginning, in the first half, he was atrocious, throwing the ball all over the place, turning the ball over. But he did then make up for it and lead this team to a comeback. Can Has he turned a corner, or was that just a good fourth quarter and overtime? I think it was. I'm gonna err on the side of it was just a good fourth quarter and a good overtime. I don't believe in Sam Darnold. I don't think I ever will be able to believe in Sam Darnold. This is the game that they need. They are playing for pretty much everything. Also, at this point, they want to be the one seed. They need to win both of these next two games in order to be the one seed. Could they? Could this possibly be a trap game for them? Could they be looking ahead to San Francisco in week 18 to clinch the division, clinch the one seed, wrap up that number one seed? Could they overlook a Carolina Panthers team who, I mean, at the beginning of the season, nobody thought would amount to this. And even still, they're leading the NFC South. They've beaten the Buccaneers, they've beaten good teams, they've held their own, and maybe they still don't get the respect that they deserve. Could the Seahawks not be giving them the respect they deserve? Don't know. It's possible though. So again, all factors involved, given the emotional roller coaster that they went through last week on Thursday, once again flying across the country for the sixth time to the Eastern time zone to play another football game. Panthers are good at home. Panthers need this game. They want to make sure that they clinch. I think if they win, they could clinch the division. But again, I don't know if they win. I just think they keep it close enough to cover this plus 7.5 and make the Seahawks work for it. 2-point game, 3-point game, 4-point game, another one of those 21-17 scores, 19-16, something ugly. I'm sure this is not going to be pretty. Seahawks defense is still good, but I think Bryce Young has been playing well enough. I think he'll be able to gather enough points to keep it close, cover the plus 7.5, and end our week off of betting right. So, with that being said, just to recap, Christmas Day got the Detroit Lions minus 7.5 at the Minnesota Vikings. Green Bay Packers Saturday night minus 2.5 against the Baltimore Ravens. Cleveland Browns +3 versus the Pittsburgh Steelers at home. Jacksonville Jaguars going on the road minus 6.5 at the Indianapolis Colts. And Carolina Panthers +7.5 at home versus the Seattle Seahawks. So that's it, man. I appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate you following. Again, if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, subscribe on Spotify. Tell a friend to tell a friend. I'm better than your favorite better, and we're going to keep the party going. I'm again 47-33 against the spread so far this year. I'm feeling another good week coming through. Most likely will not talk to you guys until Takeaway Tuesday next week. So, that being said, thank you for being here. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Enjoy the time with your families, enjoy the football. Hope you get what you wanted for Christmas. Hope Santa brings you everything that you wanted for Christmas. And yeah, until the next time, next video, we'll see you.